Hey, happy KOTG Tuesday. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up, boys? Tuesday night grass show.
Good evening, fellas. Sir.
Well, there's nothing better than sounds like a YouTube notification popping up to make people's nights drunk one day.
That's how you know it's working. That's awesome. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
I get notified too. I'm like, oh, hey, grab my headset, jump on real quick.
That's awesome.
So what is
Oh man, we almost have a full house tonight. We're just down Nate. Nate got stuck with some work stuff, so he most likely won't be on tonight. But the rest of the gang is here, which is awesome. Good to see you, fellas.
Yeah, things are slowing down a little bit. We're able to all jump on, so good to be back.
I know. And speaking of slowing down, my lawn season's slowing down too. I think we're going to be talking about some of that tonight, you guys.
Ooh,
Sure.
We kind of touched on it a little bit last week, kind of what we're all up to, and we thought maybe we'd, there's more to talk about. I mean, fall's not just 1 week, so what do you say, guys? Should we all raise a glass and keep off the grass?
That's
What
right.
you got there, Olee?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
That's a
like that
genie in a
shirt.
bottle, man. That's a
Don Julio,
Yeah, man.
1942.
wow,
Nice.
All right.
Right on.
fancy.
You hold
Take
that
it
well.
low.
Huh? You hold that well. I do.
It's like that's a two-hander.
That's awesome.
That came from
Taking one out of Zach's playbook tonight and drinking tequila.
That
Oh,
came
yeah.
from the
All right.
Mexican Walmart.
Heavy.
I'm drinking a Dos Equis right
Mexican
now.
Walmart.
That was 3,500 pesos.
Jeez.
Like
Nice.
Spender.
$188.
Ooh.
Dang.
And it's half gone.
Oh, damn, that's good. Yes, I have gone. Yes, sir. I like
Not
it.
bad, not bad.
Can you really tell like a difference, when it comes to the price? Like Brent, you might be able to speak to this if you're more of a connoisseur, but like, when you're getting like $100 bottle of bourbon or whiskey or whatever it may be versus like, your typical, top shelf, whatever you get, a nice something from the grocery store. Is it really like that much better? Like what are we talking about here?
Well, I think that when it comes to that, I mean, is it something that you're into, and do you drink it a
Sure.
lot?
Sure, yeah.
I think that's the number one question, right? Like
Like, would you appreciate it?
like I wouldn't appreciate like a top shelf tequila over a good tequila, right? Like I mean we can all tell if something's like crappy. Like if it's a bottom shelf in the plastic jug, it's $10 for a gallon. That's like the alcoholic special, right? Like
Sure.
you can pretty much tell that that's garbage stuff. But pick a middle of the road like everyday tequila. Like I like Espolón tequila, right?
Mhm.
Like making margaritas with it. I think it's a pretty damn good tequila, but I'm not a tequila connoisseur, so I wouldn't probably know the difference between something like he's got or the fancy one in the ceramic bottle, the white one, that's all over TikTok that people are smashing and stuff. Like I mean, like I wouldn't know the difference. I wouldn't know the difference between something like that.
Sure.
So I think it all comes down to what you drink and if you're into it. So for me it's like, I've been drinking whiskey for 20 years, so I'm a big fan of whiskey, so I can tell the difference, but some people don't really care.
Right, fair enough.
I don't know. I guess that one. That's the one I'm talking about.
Ah,
I'm saying like I wouldn't know the difference
Yeah.
between like those two tequilas. Like right, those are as I understand, both like pretty premium, like high quality tequilas. I probably wouldn't know the difference because I don't really sip tequila. I make margaritas with it and sit outside in the summertime.
I'll second what Matt's saying here with the dryness, man. We've been having some pretty temperate weather. It's been mid 60s. It got up to 70 today. It's good, but there's no rain. So like the grass, you could tell the color. I'm losing color already. Like I mowed it this weekend. Didn't really take very much off. I got some very kind of faint stripes, but I'm losing that green. I would imagine if I still had the sprinklers running, or we got some rain, it'd be looking a little bit better. We do have a little bit of rain, I think, next weekend. So maybe maybe it'll perk up a bit and I'll get one more mow in before the end. But I might be done, you guys. I might be done for the season. Other than like leaf cleanup from my tree, my one tree. It's nothing like Nate's or Brent's, I'm sure, but I'll still get out there and rake some of that up. We missed Brent last week. We didn't really get to hear kind of what you got going on right now out in the yard. You know, I mean, you were out with the family stuff, but you know.
Yeah, we were in Disney World for 7 days, so we were pretty
busy.
Yep, that's how I feel right now. You're not kidding. That's about how I feel right now. Yeah.
You need a vacation from your vacation.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you know, it's fun, right? It's fun for the kids, but it's exhausting for the parents, right? Because you know, but you know, somebody at work was asking me, they're like, "Oh, how was it?" I was like, "Man, you know, like a 7 or 8 out of 10." They're like, "Really?" Like, why? What happened? I'm like, "Nothing, just like the regular kid stuff, you know, like." Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. Buy me this. I don't want to go on that ride. I don't want to do this. Like, why are we walking so fast? Why, you know, I feel rushed. Why do I feel rushed? It's like, well, we're trying to hit everything, right? Like we have, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
so
you gotta keep it moving. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you gotta keep it moving. But overall, it was great. I mean, we had a good time. We went to all the parks and we hit all the rides. We went to all the hot rides, which I'll tell you guys what, like, if you're going to Disney, go on that Tron ride because that thing is freaking nuts.
Tron?
Yeah.
Is it like a roller coaster type thing? Or
yeah, it's a roller coaster, but so instead of cars, it's like you're not sitting in a seat, you're sitting on like a motorcycle. So you get on this motorcycle thing and it's got this little flap that like this hydraulic flap that comes down and like cradles you into the seat, like over your back, and you're leaning forward like you're on a sport bike. And dude, I'm telling you what, like you start going around and it's kind of moving pretty decent, and then it stops and it just takes off. And you know, I looked up what the top speed of it was, and it says the top speed 60 miles an hour, but it felt like you were flying.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But it was good. So I came back and my grass was super long because I didn't mow the weekend before I left, and then so it'd been like 2 weeks since I mowed. My grass was super overgrown, full of acorns. So Bill, you mentioned that with like the trees, right? So I had that huge oak tree, and I've said it before the last couple of years. I always talk about it in fall. It's like the bane of my existence, and I love the tree. I think it's a beautiful tree. I have no reason to cut it down because there's nothing wrong with it. It's not sick, it's super healthy, and I love the way it looks. It's a beautiful tree.
Yeah.
But it drops a crap load of acorns. So every year it's like I got to get out there at least 3 different times and hand rake out all the acorns. So I did that on Sunday afternoon when we got back Saturday, and Sunday I was out there mowing and raking out acorns.
Don't you have like gumdrop tree or something like that too?
Yeah, I have that in the back, and that's a pain too. But so those typically fall the sweet gum ball pods. Yeah, those typically sticky balls, whatever you want to call them, but for the sweet gum oaks, they tend to fall later in the fall. So what's going to end up happening is I'll get all my leaves cleaned up, and some of them will be falling, and then they'll drop probably like, I don't know, I want to say the first couple weeks of December usually. So it's like real late in the fall, early winter, that's when all those things will drop. So it's like I'll be out there, you know, a week before Christmas, probably out there raking and cleaning all those stupid things up because they won't all fall with the leaves. The leaves will all fall, then those things will follow usually like a couple weeks after. So it just makes for a little bit of a pain. But you know, between the acorns and the sweet gum tree balls, it's like you got to get out there and clean them up because otherwise they're just going to work their way down, especially with the acorns.
Yeah.
You know, when I first bought my house and wasn't diligent about raking them up all the time, spring had come around, you know, you hit that spring flush, and it's like I just have dozens of tiny little oak trees like growing in my yard because they sat there all winter long. The snow pushed them down, and you know, and then I'd have to go through and try to like either pull them all out or kill them off or whatever. Plus, it just doesn't feel good when you're walking on the lawn. You got all these you can feel them all under your feet.
Oh yeah,
like, squishing them into the
Crunching stuff. Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. This side yard is coming along pretty good. I I think if I was going to do
Hey,
it
Brent,
again,
real quick, have you ever
Yeah,
considered
yeah.
using a nut gatherer?
well, I mean, I don't really need that because I already got large nuts.
Because look at that thing. I actually took a picture
I
of
don't
the store
know.
the other day.
I mean, that would work for the sweet gum trees for sure. But I haven't.
Yeah, those look pretty sweet.
That
I've
might be
seen them
worth
in
trying
action.
for the sweet gum trees. But I have so many of them.
We need Nate because that's got a tape measure across the top up there. It would be like 9 inches in Nate's world.
Right. Oh, that's large.
It's got like a 9-10 inch tape measure at the top.
Whoa!
So I mean, it must get the job done.
Yeah, no, I was wondering if those actually work.
I'd have to invest in something like that. I'd get tired of raking and picking them up.
Yeah,
How much
that probably worked really well for the sweet gum pods. But yeah, acorns. It's like I've tried a couple different things, but you just kind of got to get out there and hand jam it.
Grace has one.
Yeah.
So it works for acorns. So
oh, it does. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
it might be worth it.
All right, maybe so.
How much do those cost, Zach?
I don't know actually. I was gonna take a picture. I took a picture of it to send you guys, and I forgot to send it to you. When I was at Ace Hardware.
Yeah, those things are cool.
I can't imagine they're that expensive.
Yeah, it's made by Garden Weasel too. So
yeah, it is. It's made by Garden Weasel, which I didn't know that either. I've seen these before, but I didn't know they actually made one.
Probably $30 or less.
Oh,
Something like that.
Kenneth said
38
38 on Amazon. Wow.
You know, it's such a simple
38
design.
on
Like, man, why didn't I think of that?
I know.
I know.
38 on Amazon. Damn. I'd rather just bend over and get the nuts.
What'd you know?
It's a one-time price. It's not a subscription. Come on.
So it wouldn't work for walnuts, or would it? Do you think? This says it's a large nut gatherer, right?
I mean, walnuts are very
Walnuts
large.
are
Nuts.
large nuts.
Are they big? Are they too big?
No, they're monstrous nuts.
Man.
Yeah, enormous nuts.
I've only seen them in like the stores. I don't know what they actually look like.
Yeah, the actual nut that like a walnut comes in, like it's like pretty big, and then you got to break it open, and the actual meat is inside, as they say.
The good stuff.
Yep.
Boy, you're
trying to beat me. All right.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it PG, but that's cool. Thanks, bro.
It's weird.
What about you guys? Like, I missed the last couple weeks. What's going on with you guys?
I just got a mow in tonight.
Ooh, look at that.
And I went about 2 weeks without mowing, and it's just I needed to mow. It's just kind of been because of timing. But so like I do have a pass where all the leaves are towards the road. I do have passes that way, but I still couldn't get rid of leaves. So I did do a double cut when I was done. But I have no trees in my front yard, but I'm getting the leaves from the neighbors. So when I was done, most of the leaves were gone or chopped up pretty
Are
good.
you mulching it, or is it bagged?
Blowing it out the side discharge.
Oh, side discharge. Yeah. So that's the question that I have, because like I have a small little tree in my front yard, but it's pretty much covered all my park strip with leaves and a little bit on the front. Is this something that you guys would you guys leave the leaves to sit on the grass over wintertime, or are you going to mulch it up, bag them up? What do you guys usually do for leaves? Mulch or leave them?
Mulch them.
Bag
Churn 'em
Mulch 'em
up.
up. Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't leave them.
Yeah.
But I would say that'd be the last choice. They either bag them or mulch them, chop them up. I mean, if I had a push mower, if I mowed with a push mower and had a smaller property, I would put it on mulch mode. But ride on tractor chops them up pretty good.
Yeah.
Or zero turn.
Would mulching cause anything happen over the winter? Because it's not going to break down in time before snow or whatever gets on top of it.
No,
They're dry. If they're dry, you can chew them up pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of turn them into dust.
I got the grass flap, and I just shut it.
Mm-hmm.
Just chew them all to pieces. It doesn't let it doesn't let them discharge. It keeps circulating under the deck and just beating them all to pieces.
Yeah.
I just have the one tree, and it's not too bad, but the leaves that fall are still pretty waxy. They're not like super dried out, so they just kind of sit there for a while. And last weekend when I was mowing, I was mulching everything up, and I mean, they were pieces of grass blades here and there, but I imagine they're small enough to where they'll, with between wind and rain and stuff over these next few weeks before we ever get snow, they'll find their way down into the canopy or something, and it shouldn't be an issue. Versus, yeah, the whole thing just sitting on top, kind of smashing down the grass, because they do kind of accumulate too, and they'll find, like with the wind, they'll find those weak spots in your lawn, and they'll just kind of sink down in there, and then they'll make it worse, if you don't rake them up. So I got a new rake, so I'll use that to get some of them, and then I'll mulch too, if it's nice enough to get the mower out for sure.
Yeah, I kind of tend to think of it like a couple considerations, right, that we just brought up. This time of year, the leaves still have a lot of moisture in them, and they're not going to mulch up as well, at least not with my mower. That's what I've found. So
you even have a Honda too. Shoot.
Yeah, well, that's why they stopped making mowers. No, but that's my one consideration. Towards the end of the fall, I tend to mulch more because the leaves are drier and they are a little crispier, and they do disintegrate a little bit better.
Yeah.
The second consideration that I have is like how many leaves are sitting on the lawn.
Yeah.
So if I'm able to get out there and mow every week, I'll mulch. But like I came home from vacation, and it's like my backyard, the sweet gum trees were dropping more leaves than the front yard, the oak tree. So my backyard was basically like all leaves. So I was like, I'm not going to try to mulch all of these in. Number one, because there's still moisture in the leaf and they're not real crispy yet. And number two, there's just so many of them that it's not really going to mulch them up well. It's going to chop them up, but it's not really going to mulch them into like something fine. I'm still going to have, kind of like half by half, like little pieces that are not going to break down. Right. So when you're thinking about mulching, it's not really mulching it. You're still leaving such a big piece, and that's not going to break down over time. And that's not going to benefit you. It's just going to sit in there. So I tend to, because I have a smaller property, I tend to just get out there and rake them or hit it with the leaf blower, pick them up, and then, and I don't do like a super fine job of cleaning up like every leaf. It's like getting the majority of the leaves off, and I have to, if I'm leaving, whatever 10% of them, I really don't care. I'm just going out there and raking them up as quickly as possible, or blowing them off as quickly as possible, putting them on one pile so I can bag them, and then I'll go back and I'll mulch, whatever that 10% is that's left. So I kind of have a few considerations when I'm, picking up leaves and dealing with that fall.
For sure, I agree.
So definitely mulch it up or pick it up or whatever. Yeah, even if it's just a few leaves.
Yeah, because like Matt here says, if you let them sit, like it's not gonna. If you just let them sit on top of your grass, it's not gonna treat it well.
Well, that's a big thing. I think that like folks that aren't tapped in like we are, they just let it sit like that, and then they ask like, how come my lawn never looks that good or whatever, or they ask what do I need to do to get my lawn looking better, and you're not taking these simple steps, the little things that really do make a difference, especially, if you get a lot of snow and you get a lot of cold and you have a lot of trees over wintertime. Yeah, in the past, I haven't had to worry too much about it because I just have those stripped subdivisions with one tree plopped in the middle. And thankfully, last year, we didn't really get any snow and it didn't really get all that cold. And it seemed like the tree pretty much dropped the leaves sporadically throughout the winter, and wind took care of it for the most part because I didn't have to get out there and do much over the wintertime to get rid of any leaves. But somebody like Brent or, guys that are out there every week with those beefy, blowers, like, God, that would have to suck, all fall dealing with that stuff until it's finally done. I don't know. I don't envy those guys.
Yeah, I see people with like the big industrial
tube
things that suck them up and mulch them into the back of truck beds and stuff. It's crazy.
Or the big industrial blowers that just blow it to the curb.
Collect it up, turn around, compost it, and buy it again.
Yeah, a couple of the towns near me, there's a number of towns in New Jersey that you can just blow all your leaves out into the road and just leave them on your curb, and then they come along with that huge like with the big sucker machine that they come with the truck and they just suck everything up. And I'm like, man, I wish my town had that. Like, I was talking to one of my buddies at work today, and his town does that, and I was like, I'm jealous of you, man. Like, I am really jealous of that because I gotta bag them all.
Our town doesn't even pick up grass clippings, for crying out loud. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Uh-huh. You have to like order it ahead of time, and anyway, yeah, they will come. It's just not automatic.
Lucky Green, I have a toe behind lawn sweeper and I love it. The only thing that sucks is you got to dump them somewhere. That's my thing. So like my compost pile is pretty full right now. So
can you burn them?
I do burn them, but I mean, if it has like grass clippings in, I mean, it's going to be smoky. It's going to be a smoky mess.
Yeah.
Put them in the garden, burn them up. Get some potassium out of them.
Well, the leaves for sure. If I just had leaves, if I was only picking up leaves, but when I pick up grass clippings, I mean, sometimes they take a while to break down when I put them in the garden.
Yeah. But that's the perfect thing, the greens and the browns, as far as your compost.
Yeah, nitrogen and yep.
So here's a question I want to touch on is y'all glad to get a break. So think of it as like, all right, so you did your 2023 plan. Things may have gone good. Things may not have gone the way you wanted to. You got that experiment. You know, you did good or you did bad. How many people are kind of looking forward to that break of resetting maybe for the 2024 and starting over or try something you didn't try this year?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Are you guys glad for a break? To reset?
I really don't like to break because I don't know. I like to be outside doing stuff. When it gets really cold to where I can't go outside and do stuff, you got to stay inside the house. And yeah, I mean, that's why I don't like it. That's part of the reason why I like lawn care and mowing, is so I can get out there and enjoy outside, be away from everything. And then when it gets cold and snow, yeah, it's like, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same way. I hate the winter. I hate the winter. I hate the cold. I hate the snow. I have zero love for it.
Yeah, the kids just want to go outside and play, but it's too cold and they drive you crazy. And yeah, you just really wish you could be out there doing stuff.
Somebody got something playing in the background? Somebody got like a YouTube video playing in the background?
Oh, is that your phone? Volume up. Oh.
Let's see here.
Let's
see.
I'll be honest, I do like having a bit of a break in the wintertime for a few reasons. One, the wife would probably kill me if I was doing this stuff year round. She'd probably like get sick of it. So it's nice to have a bit of a break. I don't like the cold. That obviously sucks. And I do like having short winters. And I kind of look at it as like, I don't know, by the end of the fall, most years I've done like a overseeding or some stupid project and I'm just kind of burnt out or just ready for simplifying stuff. So the wintertime is kind of like a fun time to reset and maybe get excited for springtime and come up with some ideas and you know, make some plans or whatever what you want to do. I'm thankful that our winters are relatively short and we can get right in there, 1st of March. I'm out there in the yard already, but I look at it as like a recharge, which is kind of nice. But I wouldn't complain if it was year round. I wouldn't complain if I was down there in North Carolina, still mowing and overseeding right now. But
yeah, I don't mind the break so much. It just is. It's a little long. You know what I mean? Like if you can shorten the break a little bit, you get 1 or 2 months where you get all your other honey-do list stuff off the checklist, and then you can get back into the lawn and whatnot.
Going out on top. Lawn of the week. He's done.
Like Olee probably wants a little bit of time so he can finish putting up all those Christmas decorations.
That has zero to do with me.
Yeah.
My woman is
that looks nice.
on a mission. So we got 4 of those river birches out front, and she's got them all wrapped up in lights. She done every bit of it herself.
Well,
so are those I think those are like netting, the stuff that you put on, or she like hand wrapped those?
Oh man.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
By yourself, or did you have a partner to kind of like help go around the tree? Oh, man, that sucks for her, man.
That is all her doings. The only partner is
good,
her
though.
left and right hand, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Damn. Sounds like a woman.
Mhm. She's determined. I'm just gonna let her go.
Yeah.
She can do it. So
Yeah, I gotta get out there and start all that stuff myself.
it does look neat, though. It would be really cool to wrap them, probably 10 feet up in the air.
Hmm.
But man, you talking about there's boxes and boxes of light bulbs or empty boxes.
Yeah.
Good
That's a
Lord.
tight wrapping too. Like
Mhm.
that's not some half-ass. Like I go around 3 or 4 times, call it a day.
No.
Like you can't tell where the light strings are. So that's good.
My
She
house
You
got
should keep those up
started.
year round, man.
She got started and knocked out the first river birch that had 4 forks on it. And I turned around and she was gone. I was like, well, I wonder where she went to. She comes back. She had another 2 bags slim full of Christmas lights. She got 2 more trees done, and then she was gone again. So the thing to do,
She was
though,
on a
is to
mission.
buy this stuff in the off season,
Yeah.
buy it
Oh,
after
sure.
Christmas.
Mhm.
But it does look neat. I will say it looks neat.
Like I have this huge tree in my front house in Phoenix, and there in the wintertime, I would actually go all the way up the trunk, and I would actually like spread it out on, like 6 or 8 different other trunks to get up as high as I could. I didn't mind it the first couple of years, but man, the part that sucked was unwrapping it all, trying to
Oh,
keep
yeah.
it all wrapped up at the end. That's the part I hated. But it looked cool.
Yeah, because then it's even colder.
Yeah.
You leave that stuff up, and then now it's like the second, third week of January, and you're like, man, it is way freaking colder out here now
Yeah,
than
man.
it was when I put this crap up, and I don't want to be outside.
Also, that's what my house lights, like last year, I don't think I could even take them off until like March time.
Yeah, I was just saying that. I was on mute. I was like,
Oh.
didn't you leave yours down? You'll leave yours up, man?
Yeah, it was like snow covered for almost the entire season. I'm not getting up on a roof with snowpack, I'm not about to slip off that. So, yeah. And that's another thing, too. Like, you're talking about Bill, like dry. So I'm comparing this like last year. Like, we had a lot more moisture already this time of the year,
Yeah.
whereas we seem a little bit drier. Yeah, I'm hoping for a good winter, at least for us in the desert and stuff. Get some of that moisture back.
Cool. So, Olee, yeah, what else you got going on here? You sent me some cool stuff here. Where do you want to start?
Wherever you want to.
So,
I've put out
what's this right
that.
here?
Yeah. Can't wait for that to be totally finished.
What do you have
So-
left to do on it?
So what are we
Barbecue.
looking at? What are we looking at there, Olee?
It's a new smoker. Something
That's
fancy.
my new well. I got to trench out to it, run power, and then I'm going to trench in main line to feed the pre-existing irrigation. But I'm also hoping to add roughly 20 zones. So my end goal is to not drag hoses anymore.
Yeah, buddy.
When do you plan on adding them? Over the winter?
As soon as it works out. That's where I was sort of hung up about seeding, versus not seeding and getting all the trenches done. But I don't know if I'll get that done in the next month, the next 3 months. So I was like, screw it. We'll go ahead and overseed and, at least have some grass growing,
So, are you okay as far as pipes freezing? You don't have to worry about like shutting it down or winterizing it?
That right there or the irrigation.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but if you put the irrigation in like in December, like, is that a worry at all? Or
I never winterized my irrigation, honestly. I've never done that since 2013, 14. I've never. We don't get that cold, and plus it's, it's below the frost level and all that good stuff. So I've never had any issues. Now this right here, I'll wrap all the pipes in the insulation, the black pipe insulation, and do that type deal. And
Is
then
that a cover next to it?
that
Is
is
that
covered. It's just rolled over to the side.
a little rock?
Mhm. I plan on building an actual well house, and then and I'm hoping the well house will be about a 20 by 20 or something, and be a little bit of a man cave.
Nice.
So
Do you have your irrigation already kind of planned out as far as where you want to run your lines and your zones and how you got to kind of like mapped out already?
man, I should have sent that to Zach. I drew something the other day. It looks like my 4-year-old drew it, but I got a plan.
Awesome.
It's pink and green and orange, but I got a plan.
So how many bags of seed did you actually end up using? I never saw the count.
17.
17 bags of seed.
My goal.
So, hey, let me ask you a question. When you
Happy
took
man.
that picture, so what? Did you go set the camera up and be like, all right, timer? And then just
No,
go,
10 seconds.
No. I actually asked my wife to take some pictures, and she started telling me some stuff.
Uh-oh.
And
it's like that, eh?
Read your
that's
seed.
why the jokes started rolling, you know. So
That's awesome.
that is a 100% true laugh. That's not there's nothing fake about that laugh right there. That was me and her going back and forth at each other, and
talking about seed.
The grass
Yes.
looks pretty short right there, man. What do you know what you were cutting it at right there?
I've been cutting it 2.5 because I was going to seed and it never worked out. So I had it down to 2.5, and then I was going to seed again. And then we took off the expo. And so I've been keeping it at 2.5.
I mean, it looks pretty tight for 2.5. It looks good.
That's, you know, that hasn't been mowed lately. So it's probably pushing 3-inch, but, and then that's just the stripes from
From
the
the air
UA 60. Yeah. The cedar
Yeah.
motor. So those are 80 inches. So I've got this goal of doing 72s this year.
Yeah. Get
So
that
I
bigger
think
deck.
72s would look pretty dang good.
Yeah, right there. There's your seed there. Yeah. Yeah, that thing lays down. That's like a big drum just rolling. That thing lays down some stripes.
It does. You know, like I was the other evening, just like, you know, the best way to tell where you've been is just look at the stripes. As far as, because I was sitting there thinking in my head before I got started, I was like, man, this thing needs I didn't got so in love with the foam marker on the Z spray. It's like, this thing needs a foam marker on it. It don't need a foam marker. You see your stripes, you know where you've been. So just move over, keep getting it.
Yeah, the folks that I rented my aerator from this fall, when I did that, they asked if I also wanted to rent a split seater, and I was like, nah, I don't need all that. But then I thought, maybe next year that might be a good thing to try out to kind of boost
Split seed.
make it a little bit more efficient, because I didn't dethatch this year, and I just aerated. But maybe
What's
try
a split seeder?
It's like it kind of like has these blades. It makes these grooves along as you kind of go along, and then it drops like the seed into those grooves.
Really?
Almost like you're tilling the ground, like a farmer would.
It's got
How
knives.
big is it?
It's got knives in it about like your edger,
Yeah.
but you got a series of those, and they barely scuff the ground. You know,
Okay.
like quarter. You can set the depth on it, but it scuffs the ground to give a place for the seed to lay and stay moist.
You kind of cut lines in the grass and the seed drops down inside of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably helps rip up and rip any kind of thatch and stuff.
Available to
Keep it
rent?
away.
Come on, man. Just hook them up.
Yeah,
I know, right?
geez, like, hey,
Dang,
No, but it is
man.
cool, man. It is cool to know, like, they're literally just down the street from me, and they have, a number of different cool pieces of equipment that I have access to pretty easily. So that's nice to have somebody close by. So I'm definitely gonna look into that next year. Shoot, why not?
So
next
what?
spring?
Olee, what's going on right here?
I'm gonna tell you, this is one reason it's took me so long to get this overseeded. I've been trying to get some videos, some content, some pictures. God bless, does it add a bunch of time
It
to just
does.
working. So that is me in the tractor, running the seed evader, and trying to fly the drone at the same time. It's quite it's quite fun. But
You don't
I would
have a
love
follow
that.
thing?
Huh?
You don't have like a follow thing where it
Yeah.
follows?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But
He was trying to get those cinematic shots that, where it kind of like
Yeah,
swoops in and like,
it would be amazing to have somebody flying that while I was just out there doing my thing. Or, I've thought about sticking one of my girls in the tractor and let them go and just see how it works out. My little tractor doesn't have the safety on the seat, so I can just turn that little thing loose and I'll get out and walk around it and take pictures and stuff like that. It doesn't stay straight, but this one with a cab tractor, I either need to bypass the seat safety or do something because you can't get away from it.
I tell you, if you send me one of your drones, Olee, I will spend this winter learning how to fly that thing, and then I will come out next spring and spend a long weekend just ripping over top of you and taking some shots, man. As long as I can do some of my own lawn in the meantime while I'm learning.
If you get one, you just get a DJI and you won't look back.
Dude, I saw one like flying through like this old Icelandic German kind of town, and it's like zooming through and going through like a bell tower over to like a waterfall and then back through the town. I'm like, dang, man, that looks freaking awesome. My yard's not big enough. I just like go up and then go down. That's all I have to do. I just go up like 20 feet. You can see my whole yard, and it's just to come back down.
All right, that's all.
Yeah.
Brian, do you think you're done mowing then?
Yeah, I do need to clean up the leaves. I needed to run more time over the front yard just to pick up leaves and stuff like that. But yeah, mine's been going dormant for the last couple of weeks. I mean, we're into the 20s overnight, and then I guess lately it's been getting up to like 60s during the day, but the ground is cold. I don't think much is growing. But all the stuff that I did put down, I do notice a little bit of green has come back. It's not as brown before I did the aerating and dethatching and everything like that. So I'm kind of happy with the ratio of brown to green right now, where it's at, because I've seen some, a lot of people in the neighborhood, theirs is a lot more brown.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're definitely cold, and it's over the next week or so, it's going to be like 50s the highs, but like 20 for the lows. So I think it's pretty much done.
Bedtime.
Yeah, it is bedtime, and I don't see any snow in the near forecast, but we do have a couple days of rain that we have. So I mean, I'm pretty happy with the moisture that's fallen for us. For being in the desert, it's rained quite a few times over the last couple of weeks or so. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to rain here on Thursday or Friday. Thursday and Friday, I think.
Bill, don't you have? I forgot you have something. You have some questions or something.
Yeah, man. I was just kind of looking at a couple. So we were thinking of some stuff, talking about with fall, winter, and I asked ChatGPT to come up with some questions about some fall lawn care tips and stuff. So I thought maybe I could pose a question to you guys, and we can get your thoughts on some of these, and see how they line up with ChatGPT's answers.
Did he give answers too, or
yeah? One set of the questions I
stumped?
thought to be like, oh yeah, give me the answers to the questions, not just the questions. Yeah. so we can. I'll ask the question, and we can see what you guys say versus ChatGPT.
You want to go to Lawn of the Week first, real quick?
Ooh, yeah, let's do
it a little
that.
early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now for a chance to win Keep Off the Grass Lawn of the Week. Use the hashtag KOTG. Lawn of the Week on Instagram and post a reel. Every Tuesday, tune into the Keep Off the Grass podcast for the live winner announcement.
Nice. Who is that? Didn't sound like Joe Rogan's paid spot.
Yeah, that was good old Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate.
He was talking really quick, though. That's Andrew Tate on 1.25 speed. Listen to his podcast on the commute to work.
He's hurting for money these days, so he was more than happy to.
Speaking of that,
more
actually,
than happy to take our $40 to pay him to.
We actually did get some mail.
What?
Yeah, actually, it's from Snoop Dogg. What the heck?
Yo, welcome to the Keep Off the Grass live cast, where DIY lawn care's a blast and we mowing fast. Stripe life on the hill, straight lines the skill, complaining about the slope, but he's got the thrill. Lawntism,
just a
bedtime voice. In the mountains he resides, spitting grassy tales under starry skies. Lawngenuity, whiskey in hand, date ideas flowing.
Hey.
Lawn love and creativity, the vibes keep growing. Keep off the grass, we the lawn crew. 6 enthusiasts, mowing dreams come true. Backyard all day, big deck so grand. Tequila in hand, on the lawn he stand. Olee Poole, fescue freak, the oldest in the game. Dropping knowledge, making grass his fame. The Pharm Dad, bald and proud, pharmacist by day, lawn cares his crowd.
That's awesome.
That is so cool, man.
Snoop
Oh,
D-O-double-G.
Oh man, I love that. Oh,
Damn it.
Thank you, Snoop, for
man, that was great.
E-rap.
Oh man, that was really cool.
Bald and proud.
Oh my god.
Oh,
We'll have to reach
All
out
right.
to some more guys.
like
if they
Andrew
want
Tate,
some of the-
like
Yeah.
Andrew Tate said, if you want to win, keep off the grass lawn of the week. Taking the baddest photo of your lawn that you could think of. Do it in a poster or reel. Hashtag KOTG lawn of the week. And if you win, you will win a bag of Pro Pete fertilizer. Your choice of NPK of what's available on HomeDepot.com. Big thanks to Pro Pete. Oh man, that was funny. Snoop Dogg.
All right, so
I was totally
Sweet.
caught off guard.
this week,
Snoop Doggy Dog.
All right,
This-
yes,
all right.
this week we have a first-time winner, and he's been
Nice.
tagging us for a little while now, and he's been looking good. So he's a little overdue for a win. But this week we're going with Ty's Lawn Care, coming in with a reel
All right.
this time around, man.
yeah, here, let me pause this music.
Or did I say, is it Turf Care? My bad.
Ty's Turf Care.
Ty's Turf Care. my
Nice
bad.
turf care.
Damn, those are some dark.
Yeah, man.
It's dark.
Got some iron in that.
So
Yeah.
he's in Iowa.
Yeah.
All right, little Iowa boy.
Mason is an Iowa boy.
He keeps them straight. I think Nate will be proud.
But yeah, this got his kid on here.
Get them leaves off, Dad. Come
Yeah,
on, you're
make that
slacking.
junk up.
Come on, man. I got games to play.
Oh,
Screaming at him. What do you think this
Dog
is?
poop?
Oh, the poop. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is.
That's dog poop?
Hey,
hey, yeah. Hey, yeah.
Yeah, yay.
Started me
Oh,
off.
yeah, it was looking pretty good.
Nice.
He's doing good
Awesome.
things. And he actually looks like he was part of the Simple Lawn Solutions contest. I don't know what he placed or whatnot, but yeah, he's got some good stuff going.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Right on, man.
Look like he's real mowing the front.
Yeah.
Little push reel mower.
Yep. Yeah, he's got a good page. Got a good page going there. So if you haven't followed Ty's Turf Care, go give him a follow. Throw him some likes. Get him in the game.
That's a
And,
pretty good canvas, man. That shot of the house with those stripes coming at you. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, man. That's a nice lawn, nice flat. I'm sure he has a lot of fun out there for sure.
Yep. So Ty, shoot the Keep Off the Grass page, the Keep Off the Grass Instagram page. Give us your full name, your address, and what MPK you would like, and we will shoot that over to John Pocock at Pro Pete and get that sent out to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, throw us a couple of your favorite lawn picks too, and we'll announce your win up on our Keep Off the Grass Instagram page too.
Yeah, you choose.
Yeah, your favorite ones. Doesn't have to be current either. You know, we use current stuff for the winners, but you can show your lawn from earlier in the season if you want. So, whatever picks you like, we'll highlight you.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Awesome.
All right, let's get those questions, trivia questions going.
All right, so some of these ones are
Excited.
probably going to be kind of easy, you know, some softballs, but we'll start off with when it comes to like fertilizer leading up into winter. Why would you choose like a slow release fertilizer instead of something you know that's not a slow release fertilizer? Why would you want to go with a slow release fertilizer?
Well, initially for mine is so it can grow roots. The roots can grow during the winter time, push that growth to go down, because you're not trying to get a liquid fast fertilizer to get the growth going up in the winter time, or while it's snow covered or dormant or whatever. So my slow release is I use the slow release for the root growth.
There you
I
go.
would use a quicker release or maybe a combo, but at least some form of quick release nitrogen in the fall, just because the growing days are winding down, and you want that slow release isn't going to release at all with the conditions. So until the spring. So if you're looking to it depends what time of fall you're really talking about.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And what are we talking to slow release? Are we talking like over 10 weeks or slow release over a couple of weeks versus something with a few days? But yeah, I think that'll make sense. And basically the answer, they would come up with slow release provides sustained nutrient supply, gradual growth, minimizing risk of winter diseases. So that was basically their justification. But yeah, who knows when you're, what time of year, where do you live, that sort of thing. All right, so let's move on to the next one here. How can top dressing benefit your soil in the fall? Like, why would top dressing your lawn be good to do in the fall time?
I would never do it.
Never do it?
I would never top dress.
No?
No, you don't know what you're getting in all that shit.
Oh, man.
Could be a bunch of junk, could be a bunch of weeds, could be a bunch of freaking phosphorus. Who knows? Mess up my soil.
So what would you use instead of top dressing if you wanted to kind of help boost your soil health, or what would be a strategy, like an alternative strategy for?
I just base it off my soil test. I just apply what my soil test needs are through the whole year. And that's what I stick to.
3-4-3 Earthworks chicken poo.
Yeah. Maybe something like that. I know Nate got all that some of that liver stuff. That stuff sounds pretty cool. Is something else as an alternative too. So, all right, that's a good one. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Should you dethatch in the fall, even if you're not overseeding? Is there still a benefit to just dethatching? Maybe not every year, but dethatching in the fall before wintertime versus maybe waiting till the spring to do your dethatching if you're going to.
Never detached.
Yeah, I did in the fall just because, again, I just want that airflow with snow, snow coming soon and packing it down on it. I want to help it breathe as much as possible. I feel like I've had a lot of dethatch buildup over the last couple of years, and so I actually dethatched in the spring, and then I did it again in the fall.
Yeah,
and I do like the way that it looks. Again, get more air, get more oxygen into it.
Talks about
I would be interested
in preventing disease. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what the correlation is between not dethatching or dethatching and persistence of snow mold the following year for climates where you are getting resting snow. I would imagine that the more thatch that you have within your turf grass, within your stand of grass, would correlate with a higher instance of snow mold. Now, don't quote me on that because I haven't read any studies on it, but that's something that would be interesting to look into and see, because that's just, it kind of makes sense to me. So, maybe that's something I should look into, but
would there be any benefit to like the thatch layer helping with like soil temperatures over the wintertime as far as like, I don't know, maintaining any level of warmth, or is it not? I know they talk about that helping out, with the summer heat and whatnot, but would it help with in the wintertime at all?
Good question though. I'm not sure.
I guess
if you want to heat up the soil, then you need to look into something that feeds microbes.
Yeah.
If you want to heat up the soil, because the more you can feed them and keep them active, and they're in there
moving and shaking.
Mm-hmm. Friction. There you go.
Yep. Multiplying.
They multiplying. They doing the do. They eating. They running. They're going for beer. They're coming back. Rubbing shoulders.
So then, would it be better? I think we talked maybe a little bit about this last week when we were talking about kind of what we do in our lawns as far as height of cut. But would it be better to keep your lawn a little bit taller in the fall going into dormancy, or would it be better to kind of cut it short at the end of the season before you get all the winter snow and whatever else?
I don't know. Like mine's like I try to do like 2.5 inches, but like Drunk Long Guy was saying last year he cut his half inch, and he got a ton of snow mold. And you know mine is 2 inches, which I think is pretty short, but I didn't get as much snow mold.
Oh my goodness. Damn it, man.
Brian's gonna die on that hill, man. 2 inches is pretty short. Not a lot of people are gonna agree with me on this one, but 2 inches is pretty short, guys. All right, moving on.
Guess it's all a matter of perspective.
I think on that, I don't experience snow mold. If it snows here 2 days later, it's back to being 80 and it's melted. So I don't.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, short is not ideal and too long is not ideal. Something in the middle. So
maybe like Brian's saying, like a little bit shorter than you would normally cut it, but you don't necessarily have to get
if it's
crazy
too long, it's
about
going to
it.
lay over, and then it's going to be really, just a matted mess. But,
Yeah, and then it's just going to look. For me, I always take it a little bit shorter going into wintertime because I found that like once you do have snow sitting on top of it, or even just traffic on top of it, and everything just gets matted down, then it just looks like garbage throughout the whole winter. Whereas if I take it a little bit lower, it just has a better tendency to stand straight up and at least maintain the appearance of looking a little bit nicer through the winter time.
I agree with that.
Just
I like
aesthetics, really. I think
it does tend to stand up a little bit better throughout the dormant season if it's not too long. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, after I see my Ring camera and all the delivery people running across my lawn, I know once that snow gets on there, they're just going to pack it down, and so I don't want long blades laying down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of packing it down, how can you identify what are some signs of like lawn compaction that you can think about in the fall time as we get into winter time? I know people do a lot of aeration or whatever, but if you have some compaction, what would you see, or how would you know you got some compaction going on in the fall?
I don't know, like yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like my soils are really compacted, so
well, slow growth, right? I mean, if you're looking at like early fall, right, and overseeding time, right? So you say you don't aerate and you're just going to overseed, you want to just throw some seed at it. I mean, it's your compaction areas are going to be areas where like it's having trouble growing, or where what is currently established is having trouble growing.
Yeah.
So I would say just kind of any of those areas. I mean, obviously you're not going to notice it so much in the late fall and the winter time. It's not going to matter, but
sure. Yeah, I figure. The jet. That's pretty much what this came up with. Is basically signs of like pooling water, or areas where like the water, the grass doesn't dry out compared to other similar areas of the lawn that maybe should be, the same sun exposure, same location, but this area kind of stays a little bit spongier or wet. And then, of course, like you said, areas where the grass isn't really thriving, whereas everything else around it looks really good, but this area seems to kind of be struggling. You kind of think about what's going on here. Or if you're seeding and you have patches that don't take, that could be because of compaction. So, yeah, buddy, you know it. All right. Let's see. Oh, some of these are kind of just like silly questions. Let's see. Why should you avoid pruning your lawn too short and prep for winter? Yeah. So what would be a benefit of like not going too short? We talked about we don't want it too long so it lays on itself, but having a little bit longer, what would be a benefit? What could be a benefit there of not scalping your lawn right before winter?
Well, yeah, one thing I was going to say, I was on mute, I didn't realize it, but as far as cutting it short, if you're going to cut it short for the winter, I would do it gradually, start lowering it down, not just like go out there and go from 4 to 2 inches, and then just you're gonna have like you're gonna have a mess if that's your last mow, and then 2, that's just gonna like really shock the grass going into winter. So I wouldn't go shorter unless you have you run a plan to get shorter.
Exactly. Yeah. If I were to cut mine too short, I think the grass kind of gets used to being at a certain level, and then you get to where the blades split off or whatever, and it just looks like crap if you cut it too short too quick, because it needs to be more gradual. So yeah, that's a good point. It talks about having a little bit of canopy there can help give it some insulation and help protect against some of the extremes, and reduce maybe winter damage to the roots or whatever, possibly depending on how cold you get. So nice. Let's see. It asks about why could a thermometer be a valuable tool in fall lawn care? Why would we be checking the temperatures of stuff in the fall?
Well, I know I check it for the springtime, because it's like every day going out. Is it warm enough? Is it warm enough? Is it warm enough? But yeah.
But if you go buy yourself a thermometer, always check it with some ice water, because just like you're sitting there saying, hey, is it time to do pre-emergent? Is it time to call it quits? And I went out and bought three different ones, and each one of them were within 8 to 10 degrees from each other. So if you go out there and you're checking soil temperature and it says it's 45 when it's actually 55, well, you just screwed the pooch. You just missed your window. So make sure that the thermometer that you have, you check it like in some, ice water or whatever. Make sure it's calibrated.
But to your question, Bill, I would say if you're planning a pre-emergent in the fall, you want to, the POA that's going to germinate in the spring is going to, once like ground temperatures hit around like 55 degrees, that's going to start germinating in the fall. So if you want to get a pre-emergent down and you're not overseeding, I would say you want to watch temps to get it before before the ground gets to 55 degrees.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I haven't done a fall pre-emergent before, but I've thought about it, and the lawn has been thick enough to where there's some decent competition with weeds, but I'll get a few over the winter time, and then most of them are gone by the time I do my spring pre-emergent. But there's some folks that do those winter weed coverage because they still get some growth throughout the winter time, and they want to kind of keep that at bay. So yeah, that makes sense. Awesome.
I might do a fall app of pre-emergent this year in my backyard, because I did not overseed it.
Yeah.
So that's something I might try this year.
Keep those oak trees from sprouting up on you.
Yeah.
Well, with temperatures, it might be close to being too late.
It might be.
Effective.
It might be.
That's
why I need
already
to test the soil temperature and see where I'm at. But I've only gotten one frost so far.
Okay.
It hasn't been like terribly cold. Like, it's been kind of cool in the mornings. I think today it was like, the high was like 50. So pull it out of the brisket, put it in the grass.
I'm kind of liking this segment, Bill. We may need to make it a Bill trivia segment coming up.
Kind of fun.
Into
the questions are good. Get
Ask AI.
Yeah, man.
Because we like to just kind of shoot the bull and talk.
I tried to get it to give me. I said, give me citations, or give me at least give me a link to a source, and it was like, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. So, it's not. It basically gives you like a narrative response, obviously, but so it doesn't like pull up Google responses or whatever. But so who knows if these are actually like the most accurate responses, or if we just pulled it from some blog source somewhere, or some lawn care TikToker douchebag who doesn't know what he's talking about. But nonetheless, it is kind of fun. So I got a couple more here. Let's do one more. I'm gonna do one more before we call it a night, you guys, because this one it might be a good one. What role could humic acid play in winter lawn care?
Snake oil, nothing.
Dun, dun, dun. Doesn't do anything.
It don't do nothing.
Yes, humic acid
thinks it does.
Is that humic acid all by itself?
It's not specific enough. These are like one sentence answers and questions. So I'm sure if you get into nitty gritty, but yeah, I mean, what could be beneficial about using humic acid, whether it's with something or not. Let's say, assume it's with whatever you're thinking of. You know,
I didn't know if it would be with like molasses or fish or something of that nature.
I mean, yeah, dude, load it up, man. Throw some Fulvix in there, some molasses. You know, what are we looking to accomplish if we're doing that kind of stuff? Leading up to
then you're
wintertime.
feeding the microbes, and you got your temperature staying up longer than the other people, and you're greener longer.
I would think that you're looking at maybe like you're trying to optimize nutrient uptake for your plants too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got your soil temperatures coming down, your hours of sunlight are declining. The plant knows this. The plant's trying to get itself ready for wintertime and get it hardy to withstand whatever. You're just looking at ways to, you know, make your fertilizer and everything else efficient as best you can with the summertime and the daylight, the growing season you have left. So that's what ChatGPT thinks. You want to stimulate that microbial activity, improve soil health, and then promote a robust root system. So there it is, fella.
Oh, that's nice.
It's the final word. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
guys,
great.
this was fun.
It was fun.
It's a good show.
Yeah,
I like it.
Still, everybody's a little bit different throughout the country, so it's good to talk about everybody's program.
Yeah, man.
So
Looks like Olee's going out in the yard right now.
Can't light it in the house.
No, you cannot, sir. You cannot.
So.
All right, boys.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Everybody have a good week.
Yeah.